Oftentimes, we kill our ability to lead our story by inundating ourselves with a whole bunch of unanswerable questions. Let's talk about it. Welcome to the Yellow Chair Podcast with X, where we deep dive into the stories that drive our lives. Hey family, welcome to the Yellow Chair. Let's get storified. One of the most simplest things that you can do in terms of leading your story is to get in control of the questions that you allow yourself to practice, drill, and rehearse. Right? Those questions are the things that lead to the answers that ultimately either keep you stuck or they empower you to move forward. And I believe so many of us, we don't have true control over that. The questions that we practice, drill, and rehearse are given to us, reactionary, based upon conditions and circumstances, and we don't intervene. And as such, it's very, very difficult to lead our story. Right? Those questions like, what's going to happen? Can I handle this? Where are things going? Will this succeed? Will I fail? Will they love it? All of these questions presuppose that failure, right, is a part of the equation. And I'm not saying that that's not an absolute truth. Failure is always a part of the equation. But do we need to focus on it? Do we need to give our fears, our anxiety, our stress, our worry, the energy and resources that they need to grow? Because here's the thing to understand. The seed that we nurture is the one that grows. So the seed that I'm going to nurture, and this is controlling the idea of what I think, what I feel, and what actions I take that do greater than triad of thinking, feeling, and acting. I'm going to ask the questions that empower me, that put me in a position to win, put me in a position to succeed, put me in a position to have faith, put me in a position to know that regardless of where the chips may fall, I'm going to be in a better position no matter what happens. Because that's the only empowering position to have. Just think about that. Just think about that. Well, X, I might fail. Yeah. But focusing and harboring on that thought, is it helping you? Well, X, they might not like it. Well, yeah, they might not. But does harboring on that thought, that idea, empower you? Or does it cause you to shrink? Like, think about that. As you go through today, what questions are you practice, drilling, and rehearsing? Are they empowering you or stifling you? Right? And once you start understanding and becoming aware of that pattern, you can bring some intention to your attention. Because I promise you, you don't have to try really hard to pay attention. The mind, like I tell you all the time, 24/7, 365, it's on and going and running smoothly, right? It's running the program, no problems at all. But when we become authors of our destiny and creators of the things that we want in life, and we bring our will to manifest, it means that we insert ourselves into our attention by being intentional. So while this machine, this marvelous, beautiful, glorious machine, biological machine called our mind, we intentionality give it directives. So the questions I'm going to harbor on is, oh, who am I going to be today? How am I going to rise above that? Ooh, what is it going to look like when it's done? If this doesn't work, what am I going to learn? Right? I'm going to focus on creating an empowering outcome in my mind by giving it the questions that it is programmed to wrestle with, right? It's there for us to serve us. But if we don't put it into service, it's going to run an old, tired script and story that may not be as empowering as it otherwise could be. So here's an exercise for you to put this into action in your life. Sit down and let's do 3 to 5 empowering questions that you want to ask yourself on a routine basis throughout your day. Maybe you set a timer for when you wake up. There are 3 to 5 questions you ask yourself to put yourself into an empowering state. Then at lunchtime, just before you eat, and then just before you go to bed. 3 times, 3 to 5 questions you ask yourself every single day. That's part 1. Part 2 is to start to catch yourself when you fall into that pattern of maybe asking the questions that are not as empowering as they otherwise could be. Can you become more aware of that? And then start to write that down. Just write them down. Don't even try to intervene. Don't try to do anything. Just write them down. At the end of a week, after doing your 3 times a day of asking the questions purposefully with intention, see if you see any patterns as it relates to the other side of the coin, the questions that may not be serving you, that may be stifling you, that may have you practice drilling and rehearsing a lower side of your possibility. What are those questions telling you? Where are they coming from? What's the genesis of those questions? What fear, anxiety, stress, worry that these questions originate from? And what are they trying to tell you? Awareness is your friend, because the more aware you are, the more intentionality you can bring to your conscious decision to what? Put your brain, put your mind, your mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual self into action on your behalf. That's an empowering place to be. So that's the mission. That's the mission. We face more questions than we have answers to, and that's an unfortunate reality. But we can frame the questions that we ask ourselves that don't embolden fear and lower our standard and cause us to shrink from our possibilities. So we need to practice, drill, and rehearse the questions that lead us to a story where we're focusing on overcoming, rising above, being our best, opening the way, helping others, servicing others, and ultimately what? Getting more of what we want and being of impact in the world. And that's the key to leading our story. And it starts with asking the right questions. I'm out. Hey fam, thanks again for joining me in the yellow chair. I want to invite you to go even deeper, to take this to the next level by pulling out your phone and texting me at 800-425-2095. That's 800-425-2095. That's my direct number. Type in the word yellow chair. And when you text me, you'll be joining my X Factor weekly insider community where I send out resources to help you to continue to storify your life and to lead your story. So don't miss that opportunity. 800-425-2095. Thanks again for joining me here in the yellow chair. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, share these podcasts. We're trying to change 100 million people's lives, and you're a part of that. So thank you again, and I see you in the next yellow chair. I'm out.